This tutorial explains how to use the option calculator. It assumes some experience with option valuations and is set at advanced. Please remember that there is in-depth option information in the option white paper as well as in your help manual. This calculator is particularly useful in that once you have loaded all the option characteristics, if you input the volatility, then Assidium will calculate the resultant premium for you. Or, if you input the premium, then Assidium will iterate out the implied volatility according to your other settings. First, select which option pricing model you prefer to use. It can be useful to compare the valuation output offered by the Black-Scholes model against that from a binomial valuation, for example. If you are trading margined options where there is very little cost of cash, we suggest that the black commodity model may be more appropriate because it ignores the risk-free and the dividend yield. If you choose the Black-Scholes model and enter a risk-free of 0, you will probably still see a rho value, because rho measures the effect on the premium of a change in the risk-free, for example, a move from 0 to 1%. If you know the exact security code of your listed, price-traded option, then load that here. If Assidium is able to access that information, it will populate the relevant fields for you. If not, then skip this step and simply enter all the other information that you know about the option. Let's price an OTC 5-month at-the-money call on spot Tesco shares. We will therefore select the Black-Scholes calculator. Let's assume that the current date is the 4th of February 2014 and the option will expire on the 4th July. Click to define the settlement terms, which govern when the premium is settled and how many days after expiry the underlying security must be paid for if the option is exercised. For most listed options, these terms would be T plus 0. This can affect the valuation of the option because the settlement dates are the actual dates used in the option calculation. Note that the Assidium analysis model assumes settlement rules of T plus 0. Enter the number of option contracts being bought or sold here. Tesco is trading at £3.66 and therefore the strike price is the same because we are pricing an at-the-money option. Enter the ruling spot price of the underlying security, in this case that of Tesco, in this field. The risk-free rate is 2. Let's assume that the expected dividend yield for the year is 1%. Each option contract gives us the right to buy 100 shares. That is the option multiplier, and I enter it in this field. If this field is left blank, a multiplier of 1 is assumed. If we know the volatility, then we enter it here, or if we know the premium, then we enter that here. If you enter the premium, you must specify whether it is the premium for the put or for the call. Note that here, the premium is the entire premium for the total number of contracts you have quoted in the quantity field, rather than the price per underlying share as per the rest of Assidium. Remember that you could go to the charting module to calculate the volatility of the historical closing price of Tesco as a proxy. Your entries will be saved for your return. The 100-day historical volatility of the Tesco closing price is at 20%, so let's use that as an input into my option calculation. It is also useful to look at the mean and standard deviation calculations on the historical Tesco price. I set my time period to 2 years in this graph. Enter the volatility here and click to calculate. The outputs are on the right, and you can double-click in the number fields to view a simple graphic of how each option Greek is affected by the movements in the underlying price. So the theta is most costly when the option is at the money, and reduces as the spot price of Tesco diverges from the strike level. You can view your weekly theta by changing the number of days here and recalculating. Currently, the weekly time decay cost of holding my 5 contracts is £2.34. Remember that these 5 contracts give me the right to buy 500 Tesco shares at £3.66 up until the 4th July this year. This calculator assumes a European option, which means that you cannot exercise it before the expiry date.